You know, got you good.
How much I owe you? How much is hitting for?
$30. Hey, hey. Years later, man, we would have chopped it off, man. This is another YouTuber, man. Tell me your YouTube name.
Rally TV. Check
Yes, sir. I put it in the description. But yeah, we're finna do a transformation on this right here. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Flexxinruee. Today's video, I'm gonna show you how to do a wavelength haircut on top and a ball taper. Right now, I'm taking it down right now with a number 2 guard with my Wall 5-star senior. And if you guys are new to this channel, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell, drop comments at the end. But today we're gonna do step-by-step tutorial, like I said. And prayers out to everybody that's fighting the coronavirus, that lost loved ones. It's very serious, and just prayers out to everybody. It's God's plan, and just gotta keep your faith going. So with this video, my client been growing his hair for 5 years. I got the Oster Octane now with the number 1.5 guard, and I'm just taking it down with the grain forward. So I'm just going with the grain, taking it down, preparing the haircut, and that's very important. Always to prepare your haircut. Take your time with it. Ain't no rush. Learn these tactics, go over it over and over to be able to become great at it. This is how you build your clientele, by learning. It's self-education at the end of the day. So just the 1.5 guard, going all around the head, bringing it down to the desired length that I want it to be at, and also my client where he wants it to be at. Alright, so now I'm going to start off with the back taper, just preparing it, brushing it down. I got my Wall 5-star senior cordless, and I'm making that first guideline. Your first guideline is always going to be very important, because that's what's going to define the haircut and start off the haircut. So I just got the Wall 5-star senior closed, and just making that first guideline straight for the back taper. I always like to start off with the back taper just because when I do the sides, they both got to be even and equal on each side. So I worry about that last. But first I do the back taper. I got my Wall 5-star senior open with the lever, and then I'm gonna take out that line that I just put in by going back and forth with the lever. Make sure to brush the hair out the way that you just cut. So now I'm going back and forth with the lever, just fading out that line. Alright, y'all, now I got my 1 guard on my Wall 5-star senior cordless, and I'm going up about another 1/2 inch and just making another guideline. After this, you already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take out the guideline that I'm putting in right now. Like I said, take your time with these techniques, that I'm showing with y'all. Take your time. It ain't no rush. It's gonna come in time with consistency and just dedication into it. Okay, now I got my 1/2 guard on and taking out the line that I just put in. So back and forth with the lever as well, fading that line until it fades out. Alright, y'all, now I got no guard on, just my lever, going back and forth and just fading it in, getting that blurriness. Because the most important thing when it comes to cutting hair, as far as fading, is that contrast from baldness to the hair length. Because that's where it starts off. That's the hardest part. That's the most important part when it comes to hair cutting. So I got my 1.5 guard on, and I'm just going up again, knocking down that bulk, just preparing it. Alright, y'all, now I got my number 1 guard on, just open and fading into that 1.5 that I just did. You can start to see the fades starting to come together from when we first started. Now I'm going back and forth too with the 1 guard. So I got it open right now, and I'm gonna do close after I have it open. So now I have it closed right now, and just fading that line in, bringing the bulk down. So I got my 0 guard back on and just fading into that 1 and that 1.5. start to see the fade starting to come together. Alright y'all, now I got my one guard on and going with the grain just to bring that bulk down. So that way the back taper could just all line up together to get that desired blend and length that you want. Now I'm going back with my one guard and just fading back up. Alright everyone, now we're preparing the side taper. I'm going to start off with my wall retro T-cut wireless, and I'm going to make that first guideline to make it bald. So I'm just going to make that first guideline by barely tapping the side. You know, I'm not going too high because it's not a highball taper. I'm going to keep it low. Get all that facial hair off, the sideburn hair off. You know, curve it a little bit. Now I got my wall 5-star senior, just making that second guideline, just fading up about less than a ½ inch, and just back and forth with the lever at this point to get that first guideline out that I put in. Now I got my number 1 guard on, just making another guideline. This method is pretty much dummy proof. Like, you make one guideline, then you take it out, you know. So after this guideline that I just put in with my 1 guard, I'm gonna go back in with the 0 guard and fade that line that I just put in with the 0 guard. I'm gonna fade it out. So you can see I got the 0 guard on and I'm fading it out before I move to my next step. So I like to fade up majority of the time. Put one guideline in and take it out. Now I got no guard on and just tightening up the blend from the contrast from the baldness to where the hair starts to be at. Now at this point I'm going with the grain, with the hair, with the 1 guard, just bringing that bulk down. Now I got that 1.5 guard on and just bringing down that bulk, so that way my fade of the taper can go in smoothly. Now I'm going back and forth with the 0 guard, just tightening up the blend. Same thing as pretty much the back, different guideline, you know, where I started off at. You know, like I said, starting off with the first guideline is the most important thing, because that's what's going to show with the haircut how it's going to look if you're doing a low ball taper, a high ball taper, or like a medium taper. So that's why it's very important for the first guideline to be effect, you know, where you're going to structure and put it at. Alright y'all, this is the other side of the head, and it's the same method, same technique that I did on the other same of the head as far as the taper, and same as the back taper. You know, the guideline is going to be very important for the first guideline because that's what starts the haircut. So yeah, it's the same thing, same technique. You know, if you got to watch it over again, watch the other side, which I did. So what I'm doing now is I'm using the spritz, which basically is my holding spray. You know, hairspray, spritz is all the same thing to me. So, but this is actual spritz, and I just put it down on the head, you know, to prepare the line up, because the taper is already done. You know, it's already done, so all I gotta do is just line it up. So I'm just spraying the head all around so that the hair can stay into place. Alright y'all, these are the Gamma Hitters trimmers. This is the clipper that I'm using right now. These are new, the series part 2. And I'm just being very gentle. I let the clipper work for me, you know. I'm just guiding it. That's all I'm doing. I'm guiding the clipper, and the clipper's just working for me. So you don't got to push really, really hard to have a sharp line up. Just adjust your blade right, and you know, your lines are going to come out crispy. So I'm just cleaning up the back taper, you know, make sure what I see. Then I'm going back to the lineup around the neck part. Then when you get to the ear part, I use that index finger to lay it down, and I use the corner of my blade to get around the ear for that nice curve. Alright, y'all, now for the front lineup, I'm going to just barely tap it, you know, making that first guideline when it comes to this lineup without pushing my client's hairline back. So it's very important just to be very precise and to really know your client's head. You know, like I said, prepare it, look over it before you line it, because you don't want to ever push somebody's hairline back. And the clippers are working for me, you know, just being gentle with it. I got my other hand on top of his head just for the steadiness of the head. You know, you want to keep your client's head as still as possible when it comes to lining up, period. And especially when you're fading too, same thing, you know, keep your head still. And your client understands that majority of the time. Now I'm just barely tapping the side, just letting the clippers work for me, as always. And just using the corner of my blade to make that corner match up to the line that I just put in. Alright, now I'm using the corner of my blade to make that little arch curve because my client wanted that, so I just use the corner of it. Now for this back lineup, same thing. Just lining up the back of the neck, letting the clipper work for me. Same thing that I did on the other side. Now just finishing up the rest of the lineup. Same thing, you know, just be patient. Remember these techniques that I'm telling you guys, you know, don't confuse yourself. Just be patient and committed to whatever you're doing in life. And with cutting hair, it's art, you know, you're only going to get better and better each day. As long as you put the time into it, you know, the results are going to come. This is a great technique too for wavers and just with that long strands here that's popping up, you know, that people always ask to get. You know, basically I got the straight razor over the comb and I'm just gliding over it and it's cutting off the dead ends of the hair, which is the loose ends. You know, every detail matters. Like I said, every detail matters in this art. You know, that's how you keep your clientele and keep them coming back, because you're giving them quality haircuts. Alright y'all, now I got my straight razor out and I'm doing the straight razor lineup on my client. I'm using Derby premium blades. And remember to stretch the skin. Don't put a lot of pressure onto this razor blade when you line it up. You know, basically the razor blade, it just cleans up all the leftover hair that the trimmer didn't get. So be very careful with this, because you could easily cut somebody. You know, just take your time with it. You know, practice on the balloon, practice on yourself just to get the hang of it. But yeah, this is very important because you can cut somebody easily. So at the same time, you gotta have confidence. You know, you're gonna mess up before you become perfect at it. Even me, I messed up before, but now it's like, you know, I'm professional. I've been doing it for 9 years, and it's second nature to me. So there y'all go, ball taper with the waves. You can see how my client looked before. You can see what the results are now. This is how you do a quality haircut. This is how you keep your clients coming back. It's very important. This is why I put out these videos, to help you guys out. For you barbers in general, you cosmetologists, anybody that's interested in cutting hair, this is why I make these videos, just to help you guys out. Because I was there at one point too, you know, while I was on YouTube looking at how to cut hair. And even to this day, I still love to learn. You know, you can never stop learning. That's just the beauty of it. You know, you can never stop learning. That's how you become better and better at your craft. So please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate everybody tuning in today's video. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, peace.